Approximately 6 million Jews were murdered in the various Nazi concentration camps during World War II. Only a third of the population of Europe belonging to this community was able to survive the many years of agony, torture, and massacres. Whether due to their intelligence, the solidarity of others, or simply a miracle, they managed to bring their testimonies to the present day. Today, in this new episode of Military History, we will witness the stories of 4 of these survivors. We will hear about the terrible atrocities they suffered at the hands of the Nazis and how they escaped the clutches of certain death.
Fue la destrucción más grande de seres humanos que la humanidad haya presenciado.
On March 11, 1938, Adolf Hitler ordered his tanks to roll across the border separating Germany and Austria. Without any resistance, the Germans annexed their neighbor in what became known as the Anschluss. This marked the beginning of what would become one of the most devastating conflicts in human history. Among those people was Peter Katz, a boy of Jewish origin who was only 8 years old at the time. He witnessed how a large number of his neighbors celebrated the arrival of the Nazis, even though it meant that their country had lost its independence. At first, he joined in the celebrations, since 2 days of vacation had been declared. But when he returned to school on the 3rd day, he was called out, along with several of his classmates.
Y el director nos dijo, ya no pueden ustedes ir a la escuela, porque esta escuela es únicamente para arios. Para mí fue la aparición del antisemitismo.
In the months following the Anschluss, Nazi ideology continued to spread among the population. Mobs of thugs gathered at night and targeted Jewish shops and stores. Once there, they would smash windows, destroy goods, and mark the premises with paint, so that everyone would know the origin of the owners and not buy there. The police knew about these activities but did not intervene. Many of their members even actively participated. However, anti-Semitism was not unique to Austria. In Poland, even before the German invasion, citizens of Aryan origin committed acts of hatred against the country's Jewish population. One of those affected was Liza Zajac, who had just finished primary school in 1939. On the 1st of September, she was on her way to her new school when she heard planes flying overhead.
El 1 de septiembre empiezan las clases en el hemisferio norte y ese día Hitler invade Polonia y las primeras bombas cayeron sobre nuestra ciudad y ahí se cayó de mis manos el portafolio, se cayeron todos mis sueños que se hicieron añicos.
With the invasion of Poland, World War II had begun. Emboldened, many Polish citizens of Aryan descent supported and collaborated with the invaders, who unleashed their cruelty against the Jewish population. Sarah Roos was another of the millions of people who saw their lives completely destroyed by the arrival of the Germans and their inhuman brutality.
Yo de chiquita quería tocar violín y justo entraron los alemanes a mi casa y vieron el violín en la mesa. Ah, ¿te gusta tocar el violín? Le rompe a pedazos en la mesa. Esto fue la primera impresión de los alemanes.
Once the Polish forces had been defeated, Adolf Hitler set his plan of annihilation in motion. The first step was to herd the country's Jewish population into ghettos to facilitate his control. People were removed from their homes, often without even giving them time to pack their clothes or goods. All their valuable possessions were confiscated by the Nazis, who sold them or appropriated them for themselves. If anyone refused to obey orders or was unable to carry them out,
Pero previamente, antes de moverse los camiones, hicieron pasar a frente a los notables, que era un rabino, 2 médicos, un abogado y algunos intelectuales más, y los fusilaron en nuestra presencia y en la plaza. Este fue el primer paso del descenso al infierno.
they were cold-bloodedly murdered by the savage German soldiers. Torture was even present on the way to the ghetto. Sometimes, just to satisfy their cruelty, the Nazis made people walk for miles and miles to reach their destination. This was done during the terrible Polish winter, with the victims having no warm clothing to protect themselves. Those who could not complete the journey were shot or left to freeze to death. Once there, the survivors had to face terrible living conditions. The Germans barely gave them enough food to survive. Some lucky ones who managed to hide valuables were soon forced to give them away in order to get some food.
Se pasó hambre, pero a través del alambrado, que no era electrificado todavía, con algún campesino siempre se pudo hacer algún trueque. Pero siempre alguna joyita, quien no tenía alguna cadenita o un par de aritos o qué sé yo. Con esto, con los campesinos, conseguimos un poco de cebada, un poco de papas, algo para almacenar para no morirnos de hambre.
However, this was only a temporary measure. As the months passed, the crowded population ran out of valuables, and the peasants, fearing reprisals from the Nazi guards, stopped resorting to bartering. Most of them turned a deaf ear to what was going on within the walls of the ghettos. The only source of food they had access to was through the German overseers, who gave a few measly loaves of bread to the Jewish men they took to perform forced labor.
Yo quería que mis hermanitos, yo no podía ver cómo lloraban teniendo hambre. Entonces yo más de una vez, cuando se repartían las rodajitas de pan, yo me escapaba de casa que hubiera para ellos otro pedacito de pan.
Lack of food was not the only difficulty facing the Jewish population. The hundreds of thousands of people confined in such a small space facilitated the spread of disease. To make matters worse, trucks were constantly bringing people from other regions of Poland, locking them up in the ghettos. Some of them, like the one in Warsaw, had as many as 400,000 inhabitants. Mortality was very high, and at the worst times, the dead filled the streets. The Nazis rarely took care of removing the corpses, leaving the task to the weakened prisoners. Life in these open-air prisons continued in these conditions for years. But at the end of 1942, Adolf Hitler decided to begin the second stage of his genocide. The time had come for the final solution. The first step was to take all the Jews who had managed to survive to their new destinations. The Nazis removed the people from the ghettos and put them on trains. Many of the victims did not know what was happening and resisted in fear. The German soldiers showed no mercy. Tens of thousands were murdered. Some of the Jews even decided to take their own lives, unable to bear their terrible situation any longer. Those who were successfully captured had a long journey to their new prisons ahead of them.
Viajamos en los vagones durante 2 noches y 3 días, con dos baldes para necesidades. En un vagón donde entran sentados, bien apretados, 50, nosotros éramos más de 100. Uno sentado arriba del otro. Muchos ancianos muertos, hubo una cantidad de muertos.
It was in the concentration camps that the Nazis displayed their most inhuman side. The Germans brought people not only from Poland, but from all conquered territories, including their own country and that of their allies. The most infamous of these extermination centers was Auschwitz-Birkenau. Within its barbed wire enclosures, more than 1 million people were cruelly murdered. The killings began the moment the newly arrived prisoners got off the train. Max Kirchberg, a German Jew, witnessed these barbaric acts that chill the blood of anyone who hears about them.
Cuando bajamos del tren, una mujer, un bebé en los brazos, se le acercó un señor uniformado, le quitó el bebé, lo tiró al aire, sacó la pistola y disparó. Cuando el bebé se cayó, solamente se oyó un impacto, pero ningún grito del niño.
As soon as they got off the trains, the Nazis made a selection. Healthy-looking men and women were put aside. The elderly, pregnant women, children, and those weakened by years of poor living conditions were put aside in another section. Entire families were separated in this way, including mothers with children. For the vast majority of them, this was the last time they saw each other. The fate of this second group was the gas chambers. Some children were saved by a miracle, sneaking away at the insistence of their parents while the German guards were distracted. Only in this way have their testimonies survived to this day.
Mi mamá notó que es un grupo como de 100 mujeres, todas jóvenes, fuertes, sin niños, se le ocurrió que a lo mejor estas mujeres tienen más probabilidad de sobrevivir. Pero mi mamá pegó un grito, Lea, corre. Y yo, no es que me eligieron para ir a trabajos, a quedar, sino yo me escabullí en ese momento cuando los perros y los nazis con las cachiporras, me escabullí entre ellos y no me vieron y corrí.
Those who survived the selection process were stripped, shaved, and tattooed with a serial number. For the Germans, from that day on, the Jewish prisoners in the camps no longer had names. They did not deserve them, since they were much less than human beings. After this, they were taken to baths to be washed, often without their clothes. Until the last moment, they did not know whether it was water or gas that would come out of the showers. The Nazis made Auschwitz and the other concentration camps a hell for the captives. The food rations were even worse than in the ghettos, but this time, the work that the Germans forced them to do was much more intense.
Y en todo momento trataban de que nosotros nos despojemos, que perdamos el sentido de humanismo. Uno se volvía un animal y de hecho más de uno perdió esta sensación, entonces directamente se morían porque se convertían como en animales, porque esto, y el hambre también, por el hambre y todo, uno deja de pensar.
The security guards in the camps were SS troops who stood out among the German forces for their fanaticism towards the party and their cruelty. These Germans never missed an opportunity to display their brutality towards the prisoners. Any excuse was valid, from daring to ask for a second ration of food, to having one's hands in one's pockets, or even looking one of them in the eye. For the guards, anything merited a beating, or even summary execution.
¿Y uno le podía preguntar algo a alguien?
¿Nosotros preguntarle a una SS algo?
No.
Dios mío. Hubiera sido posiblemente la última vez que uno dijo algo.
The anguish and torture continued for years. Some people who had arrived at the camps in good health were consumed by lack of food and forced labor. Most of them were killed by the Germans when they could not continue their work or taken to the gas chambers. As the war dragged on, the chimneys continued to release their thick smoke day and night. The smell of incinerated flesh filled the extermination centers, making the threat of death constantly present among the prisoners. Some of the children who had been separated from their parents did not know for sure what had happened to them. They still held out hope of a reunion, but as the months passed, that flame began to go out.
Encontré una pañoleta que era de mi mamá. No sé, en este momento yo pensé que iba a verla. Pero un muchacho eslovaco me decía, no esperes verla, no lo volverás a ver.
By 1944, the trains were still carrying new prisoners almost every day. Austria, Poland, Hungary, and the rest of the countries conquered or allied with the Third Reich were almost emptied of their Jewish populations. As the Germans began to lose the war, they increased the frequency of executions, determined to finish what they had started. However, by mid-year, the Nazis had already killed so many people that they were forced to reduce the frequency of murders. If they continued like this, they would run out of manpower. Even the weakest prisoners, showing visible signs of exhaustion and malnutrition, were forced to work.
Y yo estaba con mi madre, estaba ya totalmente sin fuerza, no podía ni caminar. Y la gente está ahí tirados, no sabes si son muertos o si son vivos. No puedes saber quién está al lado tuyo.
Towards the end of 1944, the German armies, being attacked by the Allies from both the east and the west, were forced to retreat further and further towards Germany. This meant that the concentration camps that had been established in the conquered territories were close to the troops of the enemy of the Reich, but the Nazis were not finished with their cruelties. Keen to erase the evidence of their crimes, they moved all the prisoners still able to move inland to continue their forced labor. They tried to kill all those who were too weak, but there were so many of them and their enemies were advancing at such speed that they could not. They abandoned the camps, leaving witnesses to all their atrocities. The Allies began to arrive, first the Soviets and then the Western powers. The scenes they found were so shocking that many could not understand what they were seeing.
Cuando ellos entran y ven esta escena de la gente totalmente sin fuerza, con un aspecto te puedes imaginar cómo están, empiezan a llorar. No podían ver las escenas de la gente que ya no está en condiciones de levantarse.
By 1945, most of the camps had been liberated. The Jewish survivors of the camp saw their nightmare come to an end after dark and terrible years. But no one who had passed through these places could simply return to their normal life. What they saw and experienced there touched everyone and left scars that could not be erased.
Si todos pasaron una guerra, yo pasé 2 guerras, porque tenía 20 años y 1000 años encima. Yo, en memoria de todos los míos, por ellos, hasta que pueda, hasta el último día de mi vida, daré testimonios para que la gente sepa, para que la gente entienda que en momentos así no hay que dar vuelta la cabeza.
Escuché a mi madre decir una vez, no aprenda a odiar. La vida sigue. Y sorprendentemente, el ser humano es capaz, no de olvidar, pero dejar atrás lo que pasó y seguir viviendo.
We've reached the end of the video, and we want to ask you, what do you think about the testimonies you just heard? Leave us your answer in the comments box below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to learn about many more military events that left their mark on history.